Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Facebook Live. I know I've said this to you lots of times, but I do really think this is my favourite. And I just wanted to share a couple of things with you. So first of all, if you've never watched us before, my name's Stephanie and I work with and I'm the, originator of Two Red Robins. And Two Red Robins, our home is at Highlight Crafts. And that's where you go to do all of your shopping. So for downloads, we call some of them reflections, the ones with the images for the dies, and backgrounds, all of those, all your shopping is there at Highlight Crafts. And I would just suggest it might be a really good idea to join our email list, because that's how you're going to find out first about all of the amazing offers. And although we partner with Create and Craft and they're our chosen sort of place for us to go and show you different ranges and collections, there are some things that never actually make it to TV, and this is one of them. So Facebook Lives are a great way of me showing you different ideas. But if you want to be ahead and you want to get them before everybody else, then please go to Highlight Crafts. And you're not going to see us in trade or anywhere like that, because we've made the decision that to make it easy for you, you know where to go, one place, either at Highlight or at Create and Craft, and then we're going to work together. So what we've got for you, and this is really interesting, is I've got these fabulous mushrooms, toadstools. I've always wanted to do red spotty mushrooms, and that's what you've got here, these toadstools. They're not only cute, but imagine these with our little robins sitting on top of them. They're just going to give you the best effects. And of course, you'll have seen lots of backgrounds with woodlands and things like that in them. And where do you find your mushrooms? Well, literally all over the place. So I've done a couple of different things. The first thing that I've done is I've chosen a background. Now, I could have chosen any of these, because you can imagine those mushrooms are going to look great there, aren't they? But what I did was I chose part of the design, and then you may have heard me talk about how I cut an aperture and I use this as a viewfinder. And I basically move it around my picture until I've chosen an area that I think will suit the dies that I've got. But in this demonstration, I want to do something a bit different. We're going to keep the viewfinder. We're going to use that to focus the eye on the part of the design that we want. But we're actually going to create the background a little bit bigger than we would normally. So we're not just going to frame the design, we're going to frame the viewfinder. So what I've done here is I've taken this part of the design and I chose it by looking around all of it. And I've got a very narrow white border. And the narrower the border, the more elegant it looks. So that's really important, because we don't want this to look chunky and overshadow what we're trying to do with the design. So I'm going to slide that up into the top corner, and then just before I press down, check that I've got it as even as I can. Now, I'm relatively even, except this bottom edge doesn't look straight. So I am going to do something, and I'm going to be really brave, and I'm going to cut this with my scissors. And I have to tell you that I'm quite proud of that. It's actually quite straight. Right, now, this is going to sit inside this red frame. So let's take a look at that. Yep, that's going to work. So let's pop this inside our red frame. And I'd just like to say a big thank you to you, to all of you that have joined. So many of you have actually joined us and been following every single one of the actual Facebook Lives that we've done. And the other part of it that's quite interesting is I know that some of you have actually been collecting these dies as well. So wherever you are on your sort of journey of crafting, thank you for joining us. Okay, so I've now put down my frame, and then this is what I was going to use as my viewfinder. And what you can see here is wherever I put it, it really focuses your eye into the design. And this card wouldn't look as good if we actually had this as a white frame. I think it would look like, would look too stark. and it would stand out too much. But by using it here, and I'm just going to offset it slightly, I think we can draw our attention into the design and really get some dimension to it. So let's take, first of all, our little mushrooms. Just take out, that was a piece. Oh, I know what I've got. I've got some little pieces of card that haven't fully popped out. So I'm just going to take those because the detail in the Red Robin dies really makes all the difference. And just having those little open areas there brings and makes the grasses much finer. So I'm going to place this one behind the design, and I'm going to place this one actually behind the whole frame. So let's look at this. We're building like a proper little cluster of mushrooms. And what I like is, because we're using it as a viewfinder, we don't actually have to cut this off. So I'm not trying to cut it off and frame it inside this square. What I'm trying to do is frame the design. And can you see how clever that looks? It's a new way of looking at imagery and dimension. And then I've got these tall, slim mushrooms, and I just absolutely love them. They're my second favourite. So I'm going to put this piece down, and I'm hoping that this is giving you some ideas of things that you could do that maybe you haven't considered previously. So this mushroom is going to go flat like that. My viewfinder is going to go over the top, and that is going to go flat. But now it looks like those mushrooms are part of the picture behind. It's clever, isn't it? So thank you for joining us if you've just joined. And for anybody who actually hasn't watched us before, I'm just going to let you know all the things that I'm showing you. They're all available on the Highlight Crafts website, and that's like the home of Two Red Robins. And also, I don't know whether this is still a secret. Have a look and see if you can find Robin's Nest, because we've got this club coming up, and well, I'm just going to tell you, have a look for it because it's a real load of fun, and we're going to be doing lots of good stuff like workshops and teaching and classes and all of that kind of stuff. So for anybody who was wondering what I did then, because my tape's quite fine, I've just rolled it over and I've doubled it up so that I've got double the depth with it. So I'm just going to take off the backing now, which I've got there. And I'm just going to place that down the middle of that mushroom. And I'm going to put it, where is it going to go? It's going to go just there. And you can see we're really getting dimension in here now. So long, tall mushrooms, well, they're going to go here. And again, I could put one in the background and another in the foreground. And we've got these great designs. These are just fabulous. And if I put that one to the back like that, and I put this one right to the front, just there, and now I'm going to trim this one off. So I'm going to make that look like it actually is on the front, the very front of that frame. Can you see how we're creating this extra depth and dimension? And as part of this story, there we go, that's what I was looking for. That lovely little teeny tiny one that's going to sit just there. And finally, my little Robin, well, he's got to go just there. So another idea, another way of working with the dies, another look at compositions. And I think I better go now and start practicing cutting straight lines, because I can see that's definitely not straight. I'll see you again. Take care, everybody, and thank you.